Hi everyone, I'm Liz and welcome back to Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch for Flosstube episode 99. Welcome back to another Sunday Flosstube episode. I'm Liz and I'm here to share with you everything that I have been crafting these past 2 weeks. And I have a lot of finishes that I'm really excited to show you guys. But first, should we start with a haircut? I have not had my hair this short in probably like 8 or 9 years, and I do like it a lot, but it is shorter than I meant to go. But I do think it's super cute. But anytime I cut my hair, I get a little weird about it because I'm like, oh, it's too short. I just always have had long hair and liked long hair, but it was dead on the ends and it needed to be cut. And so I kind of intended to go about right here, but you know, my hairstylist had other ideas. It's so cute though. It's so super cute. And I actually curled it last night because we went out on a little date night to see a comedy show. So luckily, when I woke up, it still looked curled and cute this morning, so I'm going with it. But yes, a little bit of a hair change, and you know, I'm into it. I'm getting used to it. Let's see, what else have I been doing these past 2 weeks besides working? Just a lot of stitching. A little bit of sewing, and it was my nephew Andy's 5th birthday. Well, his birthday is actually technically on Tuesday, but we just celebrated his birthday with family this weekend, and he is such a little cutie patootie, and I cannot believe he's 5 because I remember my sister going into labor literally on my couch 5 years ago. So we were hanging out and she's like, I don't know, I'm having contractions, I don't know. And then later that night, she's like, yep, you're gonna need to come over and sit with Charlie because Andy's coming. So yeah, I cannot believe that little baby boy is already 5. It's been a good couple of weeks, just, you know, mostly crafting and working, which is how I do my life. So I think I'm gonna get into cross stitch. I am gonna split up, I have some sewing finishes, but I'm gonna split up cross stitch and quilting / sewing today, just because I have a lot of both. So we're going to start with cross stitch finishes, of which I have 5 new finishes to show you guys. I have really decided to start January with a bang and finish some whips. I did also have 3 new starts in the last 2 weeks, but I had 5 finishes, and one of those new starts was a finish. So, you know, listen, I'm still net positive, right? I still got rid of 3 whips. Yeah, so let me go in the order in which I finished them. Let me arrange that real quick. Okay, so the first thing I finished was my Big Hearted Tiny Town from Heart in Hand. I always want to say Hands on Design sometimes. Heart in Hand. And this is the second of the Tiny Town series that I have finished so far. And I still need ideas for finishing, like fully finishing. Let me show you my finish first and we'll talk fully finishing. Here is my finish of Tiny Town, and I did mine on 36 count vintage country mocha with all of the called for threads and added the beads. And if you're worried about stitching it on a smaller count with the beads, I think they still, or the buttons, I guess, not beads. I think the buttons still look really cute on there, even on 36 count. So, yeah, so I have the Christmas Tiny Town done, and now I have the Valentine's Tiny Town done. And I want some sort of interchangeable display because I want to stitch all the seasonal Tiny Towns. I have Patriotic and I have Blooming. I think those are the only 4 she has right now. No, Halloween. Sorry, I have Halloween too. So she has 5. And then I think she said she's releasing a new one at Market, which I cannot wait to see like what the theme of that one is. I'm hoping for like a summer Like, I have the patriotic July 4th one, but I'm hoping for like a summer vibe. I don't know. I have no idea what she's releasing, but that's just what I'm thinking about. So I want to find some sort of like interchangeable finish. And a lot of people have pointed me in the direction of the 141 Design Company, Chantel's Etsy shop. And she does have a like stand-up type board display that you paint and then finish on. But I think it's designed for finishing on 32 count. And so mine's 36, so it'd be a little bit small, which I'm sure I could compensate with like a fabric backing or something. But I'm also just kind of looking around like my Michaels and Hobby Lobby to see, you know, if I have anything else I want to do, or like possibly even a frame that I could swap like them in and out of really easily. So anyways, I don't think I will have this one fully finished in time for this Valentine's Day, but I was just happy to have it stitched and done. So still working out a fully finished idea for these. Also, every time that Cecilia from Heart and Hand posts the drum finish of these, see they finish them, she finishes them as like a flat lay and as a little drum. Every time I see the drum, I kind of want them as a drum. And I know like with a drum, you can't see the whole design, but this design is so cute kind of from any angle that I feel like it would look really cute as a little drum. And I have that cubby shelf from Pottery Barn. I'll put a picture in here if you don't know what I'm talking about, that a lot of people use to display needlework. And I feel like these drums would fit perfectly in those little cubbies. So like, I don't know, I might have to like get good at drums because I have a lot of finishes that I want to do as drums all of a sudden. So anyways, that is my finish of Tiny Town. Love it. Okay, so then the next one that I got out and finished was Hello from Liz Mathews Winter Garden. So I started this after I finished my Christmas garden back at the end of September. I rewarded myself with a new start, and I just absolutely love this. I think it was originally part of like an Advent box that Kitten Stitcher did a couple years ago, and then she released it on its own maybe in the August expo. And I just, like, as soon as I saw this design, I knew I wanted to stitch it. I think it's so gorgeous, and it's just different colors for me. Like, these aren't my normal like go-to stitchy colors, but I think just the overall design and colors are so gorgeous. So I got it done. It was like so close to being done. It only needed like a day or two. And so I pulled it out and finished it in 2 evenings a couple of weeks ago. So here is my finish. So pretty. I just really love how this one turned out. I stitched mine on 36 count Seraphim fabric, and let's see, I always forget the name. Antique lace is what I used. 36 count antique lace, and then I used all of the called for Gloriana silks, and I stitched 1 thread over 2. And oh, I just love how it turned out. These big kind of geometric star lanterns are so cool, and the little flower berry things and the birds, it's all really pretty. So I'm really happy to have this one all stitched up. Just need to find a frame for it. Okay, and so after I had stitched those 2 and finished them, I was like, I am really on a roll, and I really want to see how many things that are close to a finish that I can get finished. And so when I was doing my whip parade, I had forgotten that I'd started this Mill Hill kit. Spoiler, it's finished. Here's what the chart looks like, although obviously you just saw I finished mine. It's called Octi. It's a Mill Hill counted glass bead kit with treasure from the Spring Bouquet line. And so, oh, this is just from 2022, so this is a newer one. And I had gotten that one because my husband loves octopuses, and I started it on our honeymoon, our COVID-filled honeymoon. And I pulled it out and finished it a week ago because it was, you know, about halfway stitched, and these kits do not take much time at all. So I was really happy to get that one finished up, and then I can turn it into a little ornament for him. So super cute. I did everything as called for, you know. This is like a painted, not painted, but like a light blue printed perforated paper, which is really pretty because the background is stitched in light blue. So it's nice that the paper, you know, is matching. So like you don't really see where the paper starts and the stitching ends. I don't know. I just like that it's blue. and I added my little treasures and all my beads. And I also didn't throw away all my extra beads just in case I realized later that I've messed this up. You guys might remember in October when I stitched that Mill Hill wreath kit, and then I stitched it on a business trip. So I was in my hotel and I was like, oh, I finished. Throw away the beads. And then got home and was like, oh, I missed several beads. Anyways, I'm not throwing away these beads. I'm just going to stash all my little Mill Hill beads in a jar somewhere. And if I ever need them, I will have them. So that was finish number 3 of the last 2 weeks. Okay, and so then my next finish is actually something that I started in the last week. Real tiny little Valentine's freebie from Lizzie Kate, and I'll put a picture up here. I'll put a link to it in the description box below. I asked you guys in my last video what your favorite kind of little small Valentine's chart was, or if you had any good ones to recommend, and you guys recommended so many good ones. And one of them was this little Lizzie Kate freebie that I stitched in about 3 hours. It was just one night. So here's my finish of the Lizzie Kate Valentine's freebie. And I think it's so cute. I just picked my own colors, but they're pretty similar to what she called for. And yeah, so I have a pillow finish idea. I want to add some fabric below this to make a little square pillow and maybe add some trim. So yeah, I have a little pillow idea for this, and I want to add this to my decor as soon as possible. So hopefully I can get this finished in the next week. So yep, that was a start and a finish. Oh, the fabric is 36 count Weeks Dye Works beige, and I just pulled overdyed flosses out of my stash. So that was finish number 4. So finish number 5 was my Quaker Snowflakes by Hello from Liz Mathews. This was on my is on my Whip Go board this year. I'll put a picture of my Whip Go board up on the screen to remind you. And let's see, number 6 and 10 were pulled. And so that was my Bit of Summer from Blackbird Designs that I finished last week. And then my Quaker Snowflakes, also due for a finish, which I was not that close to a finish. So I made myself a challenge. And then I ran out of thread and had to wait like 2.5 weeks. It took forever to get that MPI. I ordered it from 2 different places. They both finally showed up. And I was able to finish my Quaker Snowflakes. And that's what it looks like. I absolutely love this fabric. It looks so, so cool on this fabric. And let me remind myself what this fabric even is, because I always forget. I think it's Haunted. No, I think she calls for Picture This Plus Haunted, but I couldn't find that. But I did find this gorgeous piece of Fathom. So this is Picture This Plus 40 count Fathom. And I used NPI, let's see, 991B. I think she calls for 991, but I just happened to have a skein of 991B. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It's white. Yeah. So I stitched this 1 strand over 2 linen threads on 40 count, and I did make a mistake very early on. Basically on the top border, one of my triangles is the wrong size, which meant that my whole piece is 2 stitches narrower than it should be. So kind of what that meant is that I had a lot of fiddling around to do in the middle to make these motifs evenly spaced. And it totally works because this design, like other than the bottom and top, like the borders, you don't really need everything to line up. So I was really able to make it work. And I did not have to rip out because like I didn't notice my mistake until I kind of had this whole top section done and I wasn't going to rip it out. So I'm really happy I made it work and got a finish, and I just really love how this one turned out. And so I want to get, I think, a bright white frame to frame this in, because I think that would really help it pop on this blue fabric and the white thread. So I need to measure this one up and get a frame ordered. I actually have a lot of things in my to be fully finished Tupperware, not Tupperware, what is it called? Storage container. I think most people have like an under the bed box. I just have like a 12 by 12 scrapbook bin that I fold all my finishes and put them in on a shelf in my craft room. And that bin is like embarrassingly large right now because I really like to fully finish my items and have them done and ready to be displayed, but I have quite a stash going, which I actually might show you guys in my next video, which will be episode 100, by the way. And I've been thinking about what I want to do. Okay, let me wrap up this. That's Quaker Snowflakes. Gorge, love it. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about next week real quick. Those were my 5 finishes. Woo! Next week is going to be episode 100, and 2.5 years on Flosstube, and I'm almost at 20,000 subscribers. That, I guess, could happen in the next 2 weeks. I don't know. So I feel like there's a lot to celebrate in my next video. And I have so many wonderful goodies that you guys have sent me that I want to give away. And so I think what I'm going to do, I have to confirm this with my trusty manager / assistant, my sister Allison. But I think she's going to come help me 2 weeks from today to do episode 100 live. And so we would do it on a Sunday, you know, early afternoon, morning-ish, probably, just because that's when I normally film. And I think, you know, so I'll announce for sure when it's going to be happening. So that way I'll announce it on Instagram and on YouTube, like in a little community post, so you guys all know when it's going to happen. But I think we'll do like a live Flosstube, and I'll still share with you like all of my whips and my finishes and everything. But then I think I'm also going to do like a needs to be finished parade, like all of my finishes that have been sitting waiting for me to fully finish them, and then maybe some Q&A, and then some giveaways, because I've got a lot of fun stuff to give away. And yeah, but I need help with it, so I have to make sure that Allison is available to come help run my live, so that way we can make it fun and it's not just me like looking down and looking up and trying to read questions and then also trying to show you things, because I don't think that would make for like a very watchable video. But yeah, that's kind of like what's in my head for episode 100, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I also had a few whips, including 2 other new starts, so let me show you. Okay, so one of my new starts was another Valentine's freebie that several of you linked me to, which was the La Di Da Love Ya freebie. And I'll put a picture up here if I can find one that's not just the chart. And I'll put a link to the freebie in the description box below if anyone else wants to stitch it. And I just got a tiny little start. And to be honest, I don't know if I love my colors. I went with their suggested colors, but I almost wish I had just done like a bright red and a light pink. And so like I'm contemplating just abandoning this and starting it over at some point, but whatever, I did start it. This is one night of stitching. And this again is on that 36 count beige that I stitched the other little freebie on. I just pulled this and some floss and, you know, started looking up freebies. So yes, 36 count beige. This is the like black and pink that are called for on the freebie, and 1 strand over 2. So that was one of my new starts. The other new start, giving you a little sneak peek. Basically the reason I started this is because I was missing working on my Quaker Snowflakes. I started in hard on Quaker Snowflakes at the start of the year and got really into stitching it, and then ran out of floss. And so I placed orders. It took forever for me to get that MPI. And so, you know, I moved on to other stuff, started finishing things, but I was really missing working on like a 1-color Quaker. And I've also always wanted to stitch like a modern folk embroidery design. I love, you know, Jacob's brand and his patterns and charts. And they're all gorgeous, but I know myself, and like some of his designs, I just know I wouldn't have fun stitching. Even though they're gorgeous, but I was like, he has so many good Quakers and I know I haven't seen them all. And so I went through his website and I found this chart, which is the Two Sisters Quakers. Two Sisters Quaker? I think I'm saying it wrong. I'll put it on the screen. And I just fell in love with both designs, but the one, well, I think it's the one on the right in particular, I'll circle whichever one I'm stitching, because I just downloaded the PDF, so I don't have the physical chart to show you. And I decided that instead of a dark fabric and a white floss, that I wanted a lighter fabric with a colored floss, specifically red. And so I had I don't have it with me, I'm looking around, but I got a spool of 103 Veriswa silk from Danica. She had sent it to me probably a year or a year and a half ago, a long time ago, but she had sent me the skein of 103 and I had tried stitching with it on a 40 count and was kind of like, oh, it's kind of thin. I don't know about it on 40 count, but I wanted to try it again. And so I picked a Picture This Plus linen, which is super like the tightest weave that I know of. And I love stitching with it on the Picture This Plus 40 count. So here is my start on the two sisters Quakers from Modern Folk Embroidery with my little spool of 103 silk. And I absolutely love how it's turning out. So I'm stitching mine on 40 count Picture This Plus Fog. Obviously just one strand over 2 linen threads. And I think it's turning out so pretty. So I started this and had so much fun working on it, and then was a little bit sad to put it down when my NPI finally came for Quaker Snowflakes, but then I was just as happy working on that and finishing it up. But yeah, I'm really excited to get back to this one. And I didn't realize, like I looked at the stitch count, but it's only 60 stitches wide. And so on 40 count, that's like 3 inches wide. So this is like going to be a really, you know, skinny long one, but I think that's a really cool shape. So I just don't think I realized exactly how skinny it was going to be. So it is quite a small one, but it will be really long. So, yep. And there is a little bit of over one in the text verse, like in the center of it, but it's only like a few words, and the 103 is really thin. So I'm really hoping with some good magnification, I can stitch and maybe like a hoop to like spread the fabric out. I'll be able to do the over one on 40 count. But yeah. So that is my other new start. Okay, and then the last whip I had, not a new start, one you've seen before. I didn't grab the chart, dang it, I'll put it up on the screen. It is my Sue Hillis Christmas Morning, and I am doing the round box finish. So I showed you guys last week that I had finished the top of the box. And this week I worked more on that bottom reindeer band. And so you can see I added, well, maybe, I think last time I was just like here at this tree. So I added 2 reindeer and almost a whole other tree. So yeah, this is looking super cool. This fabric was not cut evenly at all. Can you tell? I have like a 2-inch border over here, and it's like already down to like almost 1.25 inches on this side. I have like followed the thread, and the margin's not going to get any smaller, thank goodness. And I only need a 1/2 inch margin for fully finishing. So, but as I was stitching this, I was like, why is this margin shrinking? It's because this fabric was not cut evenly. And I didn't notice that when I started when I started stitching, but that's okay. So anyways, that is Christmas Morning by Sue Hillis. Oh, I'm stitching this on the called for 32 count Vintage Country Mocha with all of the called for DMC floss. Okay, let's talk about sewing and quilting, because I have a few things to show you guys. Last time I showed you that I finished my Valentine's, what's it called? I have the box right here. I did a little unboxing of this quilt kit and showed you guys my finish of the quilt top. It's a Riley Blake, Riley Blake kit. And it is called Love Notes. So it's from their Table Runner of the Month program, but you can buy these individually. I just got this on Etsy, and it's this little Love Notes table runner. And so I got this all finished up, and I made a quilting appointment for yesterday morning, and I took it to the Long Arm Quilters and got it all quilted. Here is my finished table runner. Oh my gosh, I think this turned out so cute. I'll show you like a better picture, you know, on the table or something. But yeah, I just absolutely love how the quilting turned out. I used some little loopy hearts all over, and just some white thread just to kind of blend in. And then I used this really pretty print. I'm forgetting, I think I told you guys last time what it was. It's like a Stacy Itsu print. that I love. And then the kit did come with the binding. I don't normally use a solid as a binding, but it's the solid used in the quilt, and I really do like the red border on this, so I just went with the kit binding. So super happy with how this one finished up, and really glad that I get to put it on my table and use it for the next, you know, let's be honest, month or two, because it's not going to come down right after Valentine's Day. Then Friday, while I was thinking about my quilting appointment on Saturday, basically at my long arm quilters, I go to Over the Top Quilting in Cedar Park, Texas. If anyone is local, they are a long arm rental studio, and they also sell like a lot of quilt backings and solids and quilt notions and things like that, but they're primarily a long arm quilt studio, and they also they long arm quilt for people, so they're a place where you can mail them or go in person and drop off a quilt and then get it back. So if anyone needs long arm quilting services, check out Over the Top because they are great. But so the way it works is there's a 2-hour minimum to rent their long arm machines, and I knew that table runner was not going to take me 2 hours. And I was like, okay, I need to think of something else. What else can I bring? And I didn't have any projects like that close to being done. And I also really only had a 2-hour window yesterday because I told you guys we were doing date night and other stuff. And so I was like, I really need to do, like, I need to be in and out in 2 hours. So I was like, you know what else I can quilt? A pillow. And so I decided very last minute Friday night that I was going to make a Valentine's quilted pillow. And so I got on Pinterest and started looking up Valentine quilt freebie, Valentine pillow, like just, you know, a bunch of different search terms. And I found this project from A Quilting Life's blog. Sherry, right? Sherry McConnell? I believe that's her name. From, oh gosh, why am I forgetting the name? I love their fabric line. Sherry and Chelsea for Mocha. I think it's just Sherry and Chelsea, right? And anyways, this project was super cute and exactly what I was looking for. And so I am doing a whole video on this pillow, like it's going to be a standalone video, so I'm going to show it to you guys, like the sneak preview it now, but there will be a video on this. So here is my little quilted pillow front. So it's not a pillow yet, it's just a little quilt right now, but yeah, this is my version of that free pattern, which I think is so cute. So I just grabbed some of my favorite reds and pinks, made the blocks, made the pillow, quilted it. I used these little loopy, I think they're called ginger hearts, like circles and hearts. It's one of my favorite quilt patterns. So you might be able to see it a little bit better on the back. Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I'll say about this one. I will have a video coming probably in the next week or so. I don't know. I just have to finish making the pillow. And that's what I'm going to show you guys in the video, is kind of like how I finish a quilted pillow. And then I think this is going to be part of the giveaways for my 100 episode spectacular. As much as I love this, and I do, like, I love this, I can make myself another one. So I think this will be part of my 20,000 subscriber, 100 episode, I don't know, party in 2 weeks. So anyways, yeah, cute. Okay, and then the other, well, I have several other things. Why do I keep saying the other? The other, there's more. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is sewing room organization, which I'm not good at. And it's just never going to be like the top of my priority list and the top of my to-do list and something I'm going to be good at. It's just not. Mom did not make it over in the past 2 weeks. She was going to come over on MLK weekend when we had a 3-day weekend. But I told her not to because I just wasn't feeling it. And I know I need to work on it. I don't know. Why am I going on this rant? I wanted to tell you guys about what I actually did accomplish in the last 2 weeks. It just wasn't much. So I made a little video of how I decided to organize my scrap collection, because basically, let me show you. I have these awesome clear bins. I'll put a link to them below if you're interested. I think these are from Walmart, and part of the like home edit, you know, home edit on Instagram, home edit collection. They have these awesome clear bins, and I have a half size that are great for fat quarters. And then I have this big size that I use for my scraps, and I just sort them by color. And so this one has kind of like neutral creams and oranges. And it's fine, but like literally since I've put them in here, I haven't touched them. I don't go to my scraps very often, although I did for this. But I'm not using them enough. And so I was really inspired by Pat Sloan to do something about my scraps. So let me let that video play now. Hey everyone, welcome back to my cutting table. Let's talk about scraps for a minute because I kind of set the intention to get this room a little bit more organized. I mean, I'm pretty sure I said a lot more organized, but like, let's start small. And I want to start with my scraps because I was inspired today watching Pat Sloan's, I think her most recent video from today. What day am I filming this? This is Thursday, January 12th, I believe. I think it's the 12th. So I'll link Pat Sloan's video down below. But she was talking about scraps today. And so basically the way I store my scraps now is by color. So I have these little 6x6 bins, excellent for storing fat quarters. Or no, I'm sorry, not fat quarters, for scraps or anything you really want to store. They also make a skinnier size that's perfect for fat quarters, which let me grab. I'll show you that real quick too. Okay, yeah, so here is the smaller, skinnier size, and this is perfect for storing fat quarters. So this is kind of how I store all of my fat quarters by color. So these are lights into kind of pinky oranges. I don't know what my color sorting is, but anyways, I have like 6 of these to store my fat quarters and they're great. And then I use these bigger ones to store all my scraps. So let's talk about the scraps. Okay, so I was watching Pat Sloan's video and she was talking about how she only stores 2.5-inch squares. That's the only like kind of size, pre-cut size that she likes. And she was recommending that if you also want to cut your fabric scraps into certain sizes to store them, that she recommended pre-cut sizes, like the mini charm pack 2.5-inch square, charm pack 5-inch square, 2.5-inch strips if you're a big jelly roll user, and even 10-inch squares like a layer cake, because there are a lot of quilts that call for those size scraps. And I had really never thought about it that way. And I was like, a light bulb went off and I thought that is how I want to store my scraps so that I will actually use them. I also have Lori Holt's Scrappiness is Happiness book, and in it she describes all the different sizes of scraps she keeps. And to me, the amount of scraps she keeps is a little overwhelming, and the amount of sizes. And so I never kind of converted to that method, even though I appreciate it. I was like, I don't think I want to store that many different sizes. But while watching Pat Sloan today, I was like, I can definitely always use 2.5-inch squares, 5-inch squares, 10-inch squares. So what I want to do, basically I consider a scrap anything smaller than a fat quarter. If I have at least a fat quarter of something, it gets folded into the fat quarter bins, or if it's a half yard or larger, it gets folded into like my normal fabric stash. So these are all pieces that are less than a fat quarter, or maybe they're like a skinny, like 8-inch by width of fabric strip. Anything I couldn't cut a fat quarter off of. And so what I want to do is I want to go through these bins color by color, and I want to cut any 10-inch squares I'm able to, then any 5-inch squares, and then any 2.5-inch squares. And I want to store my scraps in those sizes because I think that's a great way then to use them, because there's so many quilts that call for pre-cuts. And so I just feel like I think that's going to be the best way, or the best thing for me to do, to actually use up my scraps. So I thought I would start working on that right now and film a little bit of it. I'm sure I'll probably include this in a Flosstube episode. So let's start cutting. I'm going to start with the red and pink bin because that's my favorite. Okay, I just dumped everything out. So I'm going to see what I'm working with. So I'm just going to start. Oh, this is one of my favorite fabrics ever. This is a Lori Holt flea market fabric. So let's just start with that. So let's see if I can get any 5-inch. I know I can't get a 10-inch square, obviously, out of this. And no, I can't quite get any 5-inch square. So I'm just going to cut this one for 2.5-inch squares. So I got some 2.5-inch strips that I'm going to cut down, and then this is my waist that I can't get any more 2.5-inch squares out of. So now I've got 10 little 2.5-inch squares that can be easily used in a project. I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm gonna go through the rest of this bin and get everything cut down. Hopefully I can get, well, I know I'll be able to get like a 10-inch square. Well, no, wait, this might not be wide enough. No 10-inch square. Let's see if I have one that I can get a 10-inch square out of. And I'll kick off that. Yeah. Although, to be honest, this looks like a fat quarter, so it might be in the wrong bin. Almost, so it's not quite a fat quarter. Okay, that's why it was in there. So I'm going to cut down this into some 10-inch squares and then some smaller ones. So let's see what I got. Okay, so our first layer cake. These will definitely be the most rare of my scraps because most of my pieces aren't that big, but I think it'll be nice to have some layer cake squares. And obviously this could be cut down into 5-inch or 2.5-inch if I ever need more of a certain color. But I think it'll be nice to have some bigger scraps set aside. So let me cut the rest of this down into 5-inch and then 2.5-inch. Okay, so yeah, so basically what I ended up with is a bin that looks like this. And this is probably not how they're all going to end up getting stored. I only made it through my red bin, my red and pink bin. I wanted to come back to this, but I didn't. So what I ended up with was a really nice stack of 5-inch charm squares, 2 big old stacks of 2.5-inch charm squares, and a really good stack of probably about 20 10 by 10 layer cake squares. And so, yeah, I think this method is really, you know, gonna work out for me because obviously, like I can cut this down into any size I need or use them as a layer cake, like in a layer cake type pattern. And 2.5-inch squares are like one of the most popular sizes for patchwork. And so then of course 5-inch squares can be used for anything needing 5-inch or under square, or even 2.5-inch squares if I want to cut these up and add them to those stacks. So thinking about it as pre-cuts has really helped me kind of thinking about my scraps because I really do feel like I'm going to use them more in this format. Like I already am thinking about different scrappy quilt ideas and like how to use these because just seeing all the pinks and reds like this just makes me want to use them all in a quilt immediately. But I've got all my other colors. I've got 5 other bins of colors scraps that need this treatment. So I don't know, this is just gonna be kind of like my, when I feel like it, work on it project, get my scraps cut down and into usable sizes so that I use them. So super happy with that. And I know about Lori Holt's method, but the sizes were too overwhelming. So I'm really happy to just narrow it down to 2.5, 5, and 10. And I think it's gonna work great. And so I'll probably end up storing all the 2.5-inch squares together, all the 5-inch, all the layer cake squares, but we'll see how it shakes out because obviously this takes up a lot less room than previously the overflowing scrap bin. So pretty happy with how that turned out. Okay, and then the last sewing thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the upcoming quilt along that I am doing with Liz Mathews. Hello from Liz Mathews. She started quilting a year ago, and she used to, I think, sew and quilt when she was a lot younger, but just kind of got back into it and like hit the ground running. And it has been so much fun to talk quilts with her, talk about sewing. Yeah, it's just been really fun. And so she and I had been talking about quilts at Quilter Station, and we knew we both had the Starstruck 2 quilt pattern from Layla Boutique, which hopefully I'm putting up on the screen. And we both knew we wanted to make it. And so she, I think, kitted it up while she was there, or maybe she kitted it up somewhere else. I can't remember. She just posted a video all about her haul from Quilter Station and what she's using for the Starstruck 2 quilt, if you want to see what fabric she's using. And then I showed you guys my fabrics in the last video. I'll pull it out anyways. So I'm using the Laundry Basket Quilts Little Sweethearts fabric bundle. And I am not going to be doing kind of like my traditional, I say traditional, I've only done a few of them, quilt along type videos, because this isn't my pattern. It's a paid for PDF pattern or physical pattern that you can buy. And so I'm not obviously going to give away like the instructions and the cutting, you know, measurements and everything like that, because, you know, I didn't write this pattern. And I think you should go buy it if you like it, because it's super cute. But I think I am going to do a plan to do a video on February 1st, which is when we're planning to kick off the quilt along, and share with you guys how I'm picking my fabrics, probably do some like sped up videos of me cutting everything out and sorting stuff. And then I'm also going to include a part where I show you guys how I'm modifying the pattern, because I talked about it last time, but I am going to take out some of the half square triangles and replace those with flying geeses, because that's how I prefer to make like a sawtooth star quilt block. And there's a lot of sawtooth stars in this pattern. So I will show you guys kind of the technique of making 4 flying geese blocks at a time, which I just think is a little more fun and easy than doing half square triangles. Also, I just saw Lori Holt showed this method, so you can go watch it now. You don't have to wait for my video, but Lori Holt just showed this 4 flying geese method in one of her most recent videos for the Scrappiness is Happiness sew along. She has a sawtooth star block in her book, and so she showed how to do this method, and she even has a cheat sheet for how to cut out your fabrics for the method. So that's really handy. And then I have a link that I'll put in my video to show you too. Yeah, so anyways, all this to say, I will be posting about this mostly on Instagram, and of course sharing in my regular, you know, bi-weekly floss tubes, but I probably will do a standalone video or 2 throughout February as I work on this quilt. But in the interest of full disclosure, I am going to try and publish the first video on February 1st. So I am going to start probably cutting into my fabric soon, so I can actually like film that first video. Yeah. I think that's all I have to say. Hashtag Starstruck2QAL if you want to join in on Instagram. I need to make a post about it. I haven't posted any of my stuff yet. Oh, and then the other thing I wanted to do, Liz did this on her video, so I'm totally copying her. I want to give away a PDF copy of the Starstruck 2 quilt along pattern. Why do I call it a quilt along pattern? It's just a pattern. The Starstruck 2 pattern from Layla Boutique. So if anybody wants to join in and sew along with us and needs a copy of the pattern, please comment below this video and use Starstruck. I'll put it on the screen. Starstruck in your comment. And I'm actually not going to wait until the next video to pick a winner. I will pick a winner probably in the next week or so. And I'll post that in my community tab. So when you're subscribed to somebody, like, they have videos obviously, and now they have like short videos that you can post, and then they have like community posts where I can just almost like post like I'm on Instagram, just like a picture or words. And so I'll post the winner in my community tab, and it should show up like in your subscription feed if you're subscribed to me. So you shouldn't have any trouble seeing it. Anyways, that's how I'm going to do it. This is the first time I've done a giveaway like this, but I'm going to try it out. So if you want to win a copy of the Starstruck 2 pattern, just leave a comment down below. And the rules for the giveaway are you must be a subscriber, like the video, and leave a comment with the keyword. And yeah, I'll pick a winner and maybe you can sew along with us. So anyways, I think that's all the sewing chat I have. I do have a lot of haul and some of it is random, so let me clear the table and set up for that. Okay, I'm gonna start with my most random piece of haul ever, and that is this pillow. How cute is this, right? I I bought this lovely velvet applique pillow from the United States Postal Service. Yeah, so this is the artwork for a USPS Forever, how much are they, 55 cents now? I don't know, a stamp, a basic stamp. And these are the stamps that I used on my wedding invitations last year. And so when I saw this pillow, that is the stamp, just come to pillow, I had to have it. And I had no idea that the USPS.com sold home goods, but they have very random stuff on their shop. You should go look, it's very fun. And so I had to buy this pillow. And so it's like a nice velvet applique front, and then on the back it just has, it's like canvas. I still have the tag on it with like a little zipper closure, so it's removable, and it has this little cute pink pom-pom trim. Yeah, this is totally random but adorable, and it's very Valentine's, and you know, reminds me of my wedding. So anyways, random bit of haul for you. The other very random bit of haul is not something I bought. It was something given to me by Needlework Retailer magazine. So I think if you are a shop owner, you probably know this magazine. I was not aware of it, but they reached out to me and several other floss tubers. It had to be like 6 months ago. It was a while ago. And they included me in an article they wrote about floss tubers. So yeah, they sent me a copy of the magazine. So let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Yeah, here we are. So you can see me and some of my fellow Flosstube friends. Let's see, there's Lenny and Roberta from Sable Stitchers. And, okay, I should have read this closer. I'm pretty sure these ladies are the so-and-sos. And then this is made by Michelle McGraw. So, yeah, they interviewed us about working with Flosstubers. So like if stores, you know, want to promote their store, about how, just basically how to kind of use Flosstube to advertise for their businesses. So it was fun to answer some questions, and they included a little picture of me, which was super cute. And I'm really glad to have a copy because it's the first time I've ever been in a magazine. So thanks, guys. Okay, I also had a little bit of fabric haul from the Fat Quarter Shop. I pre-ordered this Jolly Bar from the Sunwashed collection by Corey Yoder. So super pretty. And the Jolly Bars always come with an exclusive quilt pattern. And so there is the quilt pattern that came with this Jolly Bar, and you can kind of see more of the fabric colors. It's just super summery and pretty fabric. And I wasn't sure, you know, what I would make with it, but I was like, let me just get a Jolly Bar just so I have some of it. So I bought that. And then I got my Ruby Star Society quarterly club kit. I'm subscribed to this through the Fat Quarter Shop, and this is the January 2023 Ruby Star Society quarterly club bundle. And so this is what the fabrics look like. And so it's from a few different lines. Let's see. Oh, it's just from 2 of them, Floridora and Petunia from Ruby Star Society. And we always get a matching thread, which I love because I literally have never bought colored thread for my machine. I just buy neutrals because that's what I use 99% of the time. But like on this quilt, sorry, let me just knocking everything over. But when I did this red binding, I had some red thread in my stash because of this club, and I was able to use that for the top stitching. So I didn't have to use like white thread on red binding, which was great. And so now I've got this pretty kind of pearly blue color in case I ever need it. And then they also come with a quilt pattern. So this is the quilt pattern. So it uses all the fat quarters, and then you just need to add some background. So that's super cute. And sometimes I keep these kits together if I really think I'll make this exact quilt or use all of these together. And then other times I just split them up, and I have my fat quarters down here, I don't know if you can see them, sorted by color. And so if I decide I'm not going to use them all together, I'll just split them up, fold them up, and put them in with their colored bins. And that way, when I'm looking for certain colors of fabric, I know exactly where to go to. So that is that. And then I had 2 orders for cross stitch because I was trying to get that MPI silk, and I ordered from 2 different places. And of course I didn't just order the MPI, I had to order all kinds of stuff. So from Hobby House, I got this Blackbird Designs book that I did not buy earlier this year. It's called When the Leaves Fall. Super, super pretty. And I love the sampler on the back. And I believe it has a design in here that I got as an exclusive at Quilter Station a couple years ago. I can't, oh yeah, this little squirrel. I believe I already had that chart. But anyways, super, super pretty book. And I need all the Blackbird books. So I got that. And then I got 2 pieces of fabric from them. And they wrap it in this brown paper, which is super pretty, but not handy for showing off on Flosstube. So let me open these up and I'll show you the fabric I got. These are both 36 count fabrics. This one is just a Zweigert light mocha, which is a really pretty, it's just vintage country mocha without modeling, basically. Just a really pretty tan. And I think I just got a fat 1/8 of this. Not a full fat quarter. And then I got a fat 1/8 of 36 count Picture This Plus Oaken, which is this really pretty brown. And I thought this would be really good for a lot of designs in this book and pretty much anything. I don't really have anything in mind for this. I just, anytime I find 36 count Picture This Plus, I pretty much buy it. 36 count Picture This Plus is like my favorite linen. So I buy it all the time. So anyways, that's the fabric. Oh, and then of course I got my floss. So I got the NPI that I needed, except spoiler, 123 Stitch got it to me quicker. That's why this one hasn't been used. And then I got a green. Oh, I don't even think I talked about it. So on my Quaker Snowflakes, doesn't matter. I'll show it to you again. Basically, I changed the design slightly. I just changed the colors. On the version stitched on dark fabric, Liz calls for, I'll put the picture back up, for the trees and the bird to be stitched in green and a red. And I could not get a green and a red that I liked. I tried her called for, I tried stuff I had in my stash, and I just never found a good green and red that I liked on this Fathom fabric. So I just did it all in white. So I don't think I mentioned that I ended up stitching mine all just completely in white. I didn't change the trees or the bird. And I'm super happy with how it looks all in white. But I forgot I did order just even another green to try before I had fully decided that no, I'm just gonna stitch it all in white. So I have a couple of skeins of NPI that will go into my silk collection. And I have a 123 Stitch order. Oh yeah, okay, I forgot about this. This I ordered from Cobweb Corner. So cobwebcorner.com, if you're not familiar, I'll link it down below, is Carla's shop. She has a Flosstube and she's on Instagram, and she posted the other night that these kits were in stock. And this is the new 2023 Collector's Heart from Heart and Hand. And I just saw this and was like, yes, please, gorgeous. And this comes with the floss and the fabric. So it comes with, I'll open it up. It comes with the floss and fabric tucked in. And it comes with one button that goes on the front. And the fabric that it comes with is 32 count, and it's Picture This Plus. Let me see what it says. Heartland. So it's 32 count Heartland, and it's perfectly sized for the design. So a nice little square of linen. And it comes with the Cottage Garden threads. And I'm really excited to use this. I've only used Cottage Garden threads in the pearl cotton version, and that was part of a friend stitch kit that I did in the fall. And so now I have their normal embroidery floss to try, and I'm gonna stitch it 1 strand over 2 on this 32 count, because this 32 count is a Picture This Plus, which is a tighter weave. And I think I told you guys, when did I stitch? I stitched something 1 strand over 2 on 32 recently. Like recently, it's probably in the last few months. And I want to do it again because I love stitching on 1 strand, and this came with the fabric and I don't want to let it go to waste because I love Picture This Plus Heartland. So yeah, I'm going to try stitching this with 1 strand over 2 on 32. And of course I'll let you know how it goes, but this really honestly might get started today because I've been itching to start this. And I was like, you're not allowed to start it until you finish Quaker Snowflakes. And I finished Quaker Snowflakes yesterday. So I think it's time. I think this one might get started today. Although I did start that Quaker Sisters Modern Folk Embroidery one, and that's also a red thread and also Valentine's themed. This is probably just gonna get started. Let's just be honest. So anyways, I super excited to have this. I think she still has some in stock, and I've also seen lots of shops have been getting this kit in stock. So if you want it, I would go grab it while it's still a kit because that's awesome. And then it comes with the cute little button. I think I showed it to you. It comes with a cute little button that goes in the design as well. So woohoo. It's been really hard to look at this and not start it because I got this, like she shipped it like that. And so I had it in like 3 days. I think I got this like last weekend or right after last weekend, and it's just been on my coffee table staring at me, and I'm like, I can't start it. But I think today's the day. I think it's getting started. I'm realizing I have one order that I forgot to bring in here, but it's just thread. Anita's Little Stitches is one of my favorite places to buy overdyed threads from because one, they are based out of Houston, which is very close to me. And so the mail, like, 2 days and it's here. And they have like every single overdyed thread. Sometimes they're out of stock of a couple of them, but they're really good at having like everything in stock. So like when I need overdyed thread, like, I know I'm revealing all my secrets, but that's kind of my go-to. And I, while waiting to finish my Quaker Snowflakes about a week and a half ago, I started going through all my charts. That's another thing I did. I kind of went through my charts and organized them up here in all these like little magazine folders. Like I finally sorted like all my Blackbirds, all my Prairie Schoolers, like anything I had a lot of, like Cricket Collection, Birds of a Feather, Drawn Thread, like anything I had a lot of kind of got its own section. And while doing that, I found so many charts that I wanted to kit up. And I actually don't have a ton of stuff kitted. Like I probably have 10 to 15 things kitted, but I don't have anything, I don't know, I haven't kitted anything in a while. That's my excuse. And so I found 4 charts that I wanted to kit up. And so I got online and ordered a bunch of threads. So all the overdyed threads for these projects came from Anita's, which I'm not sure where I put that bag. And then all the DMC I needed came from 123 Stitch, because I love that on 123 Stitch, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to the DMC page at the top, there's a text box where you can just enter the DMC numbers you need separated by a comma and not have to go add to cart every single one. And it's like the best thing when you need a ton of DMC. So maybe you already know this, but if you don't and you just have a list of DMC that you need, go to 123 Stitch, just type it in, hit add to cart, and it just adds all that DMC that you need at once to your cart without having to like hunt and peck for all the different colors. So anyways, I ordered a big old bag of DMC, and one of the projects that will be used on is this heart and hand, no, why do I always mix up? Hands on Design, a waffle lot. I've loved this design. It was originally part of a Black Needle Society box, and I remember seeing like an unboxing and being so jealous that I didn't have this box, but then she released it last year, and I meant to start it last year. I never did, and this year it's getting started. Obviously, I'm not going to finish it before Valentine's Day, but it is getting started. It is so cute, and I love Parks and Rec. It's on Peacock if streaming, and we usually watch an episode at lunch. We alternate between like The Office, Parks and Rec, different shows like that. And Leslie is well known on the show for her love of waffles, and so I just thought this was super cute. I love you a waffle lot. So anyways, I really want to stitch this, and so the DMC for this is all just calls for all DMC, so they're in here somewhere. The other DMC is for this one, which is the Prairie Schooler February. And I love the big design, and I definitely do want to do that at some point, but I specifically got the thread to do this little love small, and I'm not going to do the smalls all together like this. I'm just going to stitch it individually, but I just love the little love, and I want to make that into a little pillow. So I got the floss to stitch that. And then I think these both take overdyes and not DMC. So the other 2 charts that I kitted up with overdyes from Anita's is my March wordplay. So it's still December back here because I don't have January done. I do have February. I probably should have switched for February. But I have this tin back here that I store and display all of my With Thy Needle and Thread word plays. And March is the next one I need to stitch. So I bought all of the overdyed threads. And so this will hopefully be a start sometime in February. I'm really planning a lot of things for February, and February is the shortest month. So I probably need to like cool my jets a little bit, but anyways. Got the threads for that. And then I got the threads for this chart, which is Birds of a Feather soweth sampler. So it says, whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And I have loved this chart forever. My friend Kathleen, Situation Normal. Kathleen, when are you going to make another video? Anyways, she stitched this chart and she sent it to me in exchange for some other charts I sent her. And I've been wanting to stitch this since last year when she sent me the chart. And so I finally kitted it up with all the overdyed threads that I need. And yeah, so I don't know when I'll start it, but I'm going to have it kitted up, ready to go in my bin of kits for whenever I get the urge to start something new, which is, every day. I think that's all the haul. I think so. I'm looking at my notes. Did I talk about everything? Yeah, okay. I think that's everything. Giveaway. So if you enter the giveaway, look for a community post from me about a week from now where I'll pull a winner of the Starstruck 2 quilt pattern. So that way you can get a jump start. If you need the supply list, that is already available. I'll post a link down below to the Starstruck 2 quilt pattern, and you can see the supply list, you know, listed without even having to buy the pattern. So yeah, if you want to, you know, get started buying and kind of wait to see if you win a pattern, you can go do that. And other than that, I'll be back in 2 weeks for my 100th episode spectacular, if I can make it spectacular. And what else? Oh, I should have a quilt video coming soon for you on that Valentine's pillow I showed you. And I'm trying to plan out some more fun quilt videos because I really like doing those and you guys seem to enjoy them. So I just need more time in the day is what I need. But, you know, whatever. It's fine. I do what I do. Yeah, I think that's everything I have to share. So before I ramble too much longer, I'm going to cut myself off and go edit and upload because that's going to take forever. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.